Alright guys, just a quick recap as to what we've done so far and why I've made it here. Well, long story short, I had a little leak. Well, it was getting more significant day by day coming from down here. And it turns out that in order for us to fix the leak on this seal, I had to remove the drive shaft that went from here all the way to the front differential. And in order to do that, we had to loosen off the front diff, which is now kind of just sitting there. And I took all the wheels off at this point just so that you can kind of see better when I'm filming. But that's where we're at now. We also did have, this case was over full. Haven't quite figured out what that is yet, but I have a feeling we are going to figure it out today. So what are we doing today? Well, I have to remove this case, which means that in order to remove the case, I have to remove the swing arm. So it's just getting better and better all the time. It's going to be a slightly long video. I'm going to try and keep it short and to the point, guys. But that is the curriculum for today. Okay, so there's a few ways to tackle this, but the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to allow this shock here to kind of keep everything in balance. And there's a few other things that I've already done in preparation for this. So there's a pin holding the lower side of the shock, of course. So I've removed the cotter pin there, and then I'm going to remove the screw here. Well, maybe not remove it, but I am going to loosen it off enough that the boot will easily slide off. Then on either side, we've got a large nut, which can be held, but with an impact, I believe, yeah, this is a 1 1/16 size socket. We should be able to crack this free. Remove the lock nut, just like that. So we're going to do that on either side. And of course, we can't forget to remove our cables, because those cables are also going to be in the way. But once these pins are removed, this whole drive shaft / swing arm will be supported by simply the shock pin, and then we can pull that pin and walk away with it. Get all these loosened off, and now we can remove these pins. And if I did this properly, this whole unit now should just be supported by the shock, which it is. And disconnect that boot. Okay. Now we're going to pull this pin. Now be aware, guys, this is a heavy component. So I'm doing it on a lift, which is actually going to be heavier for me. But if you're doing it on the ground, you may be able to put a jacks on wheels and just kind of wheel it out from the bottom. I have to take the weight. Almost there. There we go. Now, with any luck, yeah, I'm going to drop a few things, of course. I'm not going to sweat it too much at this point. It should. Oh yeah, I'm going to get help by the brake cable. There we go. Something along those lines. Oh, this is so deja vu. It's unreal. So these bigger bolts here are what hold the reduction gearbox, or the transfer gearbox, as I think they called it, to the crankcase. So I'm going to have to pull 1, 2, and 3, as you can see there. And then hopefully, well, there's actually 4. Sorry, there's one down below. But hopefully we'll be able to kind of fix this, because this is really not getting fun at all. It's the next day, and hopefully without too much suffering here, I'm going to be able to remove the gearbox or transfer case, or whatever it is you guys want to call it, because I'm not really sure what it is called. I think they call it a middle gear drive, or middle drive gear in the book. But yeah, there's 4 12 millimeter head bolts here. I'm going to pull these out. and they are apparently super tight. So let's take out the big gun. Oh yeah, like butter. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. I have to pull this U-joint out as well. Come on! Well, this should be fun, but it's also going to give me an opportunity to give this a good grease, or, you know, replace it if it's, you know, bad. But it feels pretty good, and I'm pretty darn sure I also did this. I'd have to go back to my footage when I did the swing arm and all that good stuff, because I think, yeah, this is new. I remember it now. I remember putting this in not too long ago. So it should, again, should come out fairly easily. So I'm gonna pop the clip and probably lose it, but hopefully not, because I'm just not getting very good luck right now when it comes to the Big Bear. Okay, so that came out almost where I wanted it. There we go. Okay, I got you. There's got to be an easier way to do this. If you guys know of an easier way to remove the inner clips like this, I mean, obviously the ones that are on the outside usually have a C-clip. You can remove that with a pair of pliers, but these ones here, if you have a better way than just using two screwdrivers and just kind of hoping for the best here, please comment down below. I mean, I've been doing it like this for a while now. Gotcha. What is going on? That should be going. Well, that seems to be the problem. My socket is a bit too small. During my search for another socket, I decided, you know what, there's got to be a better way, because this is just becoming nonsense. Like, I mean, I don't understand why it's so complicated to get one little seal out. So I decided to try something off camera, which was to remove the remaining bolts here. So it would have been 1, 2, 3, and 4. And what would happen if it would actually come loose or what. And I'm happy to say that look at this. If I remove this cover, look at all the gears in there. We're going to be careful with this. I want to put it down, but I can't because I'm holding the... Okay, let's put it up here. Okay, good. And now, this whole cover, or this whole gearbox, should come out. Oh yeah, of course the plastics now. You're not going to make me take the plastics out, are you? Like, come on, Yamaha. This is super frustrating. Like, what? No. You're kidding me. If I got to cut those plastics, I will cut those plastics. But there's... Aha! Okay, that's going to be fun to put back in. But anyways, it's out! You see this? Oh, that was a bearing. But anyways, it's out. So let's go throw it in the wash. Give it and I'm going to put this U-joint back in place before I forget. And take a look at this bearing as well. That went like that before I forget. Look at this contraption though. But let's give it a good cleaning. It is all nice and clean, fresh out of the parts cleaner. And this is how it would be mounted in the bike. So we have our bevel gear here. That was almost hard to say. And there was 2 shims sitting right between here. Come on, just like that. Somewhere along these lines. So can't lose these. I want to make sure that they stay put or reinstalled properly. But I still have to remove this U-joint regardless, because in order for me to split this gearbox, this yoke's still in the way. So, but in more silver lining kind of look at it is I get to do it here rather than all crammed up in the bike. So let's go ahead and get ourselves ready for that. And I got a bigger socket this time, so it's gonna press or I'm gonna get mad. One of the two. I'll just throw it in the big vise. But I really don't want to do that. I'm going to avoid making any damage that is not necessary during the repair. Because it's not really a repair if you're damaging it more, right? and it's just being really, really fussy. Okay, big vise you go. Sorry about the background noise, guys. I've got my fan or my heater running, and that's the fan you hear. There we go, and that's the cracking you hear of the actual U-joint letting go. Slowly but surely. That wasn't coming out with my regular little 6-inch vise or C-clamp. Come on. Almost there. There we go. Don't want to drop that, because then if all the needles start flying around, really not going to be a happy camper. Now I get to press this one all the way back through and into the other side. Alright, come on now. Make your way through. There you go. Now I get to try and remove this yoke. So there is it's a 22 millimeter nut holding the yoke in place. And obviously I got to stop the yoke from spinning. So this is what I've come up with. And hopefully, if you guys watched the last video, it worked double wrenching this last time on the one that was down here. And with any luck, it's going to work again without hurting myself. So here's to hoping. Yeah, this is not going to happen. What is my other plan here? I got to come up with a different plan. And it looks like we're back to the vise. I got to find a way to hold it, and this is what I came up with. Now, hopefully, with this nice long breaker bar. Okay, that's awesome. That, finally, something's going my way. That went well. That went really well, actually. I'm going to just crack it loose some more. Then we're going to head back to the bench, and hopefully by then, take it all apart. Alright. Oh, and I should also mention, guys, I've never actually done this job before. So this is mostly for entertainment purposes, and hopefully it's been entertaining so far. But we are going to learn together, and if I see anything along the way that I find valuable as for information or just interesting, I'm going to point it out. And at this point, it looks like everything's loosened off. Okay, so yeah, I can pull this whole assembly out, which is good news. So there is a seal here, which I will be replacing because I'm there. And I'm also seeing a seal here, which of course I'm also going to want to replace. I don't have this one though. I do have this one. And oh, there is one here too. So I might want to look into this guy. Few more seals, another stop to make, but let's keep going here. I'm going to pull all of these number 8 screws and hopefully split this apart and get to the one that was actually leaking. Alright, so they do give you a nice little pry section right here. There's these little ears, at least on that side and even maybe here. Because you never want to pry in between machine surfaces, because if you do, you stand a real good chance that when you reseal it, it's going to leak from there. So I'm just going to use this wrench and nicely pull it apart just like that. It's working. It's working. I mean, I knew it would work, but I didn't think it was going to be this easy. Well, there you go. And what do we have in here? So this part here, I've always wondered what was inside, because, I mean, it seems a little bit unnecessary. And it kind of is unnecessary. I mean, it really... So this is your gear case, right? What is this for? Anybody know? If anyone knows what this is for, I would like to have an idea of that. So throw all of that in the comment section, because I'm kind of at a loss here. If you look here, there's like a little passageway that makes its way all the way to the top, and this is sealed. Now, I find that very curious, because usually when you have something like this, like a little maze in the casting, it's for air to escape, so that if or when all these gears are meshing together and they create pressure, that air can get bled out. And as you guys saw, I'm going to put the clip in here. What the heck is... That's not supposed to happen. This gear case was overfilled. And that would have been from engine oil. So now I need to just kind of go back to the press and kind of squeeze this out nice and gentle. That's more like it. If you have access to a torch or, you know, oxyacetylene or even just acetylene, something like that, nothing too hot. You don't want to burn or melt this metal or this aluminum. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to heat up the case, and then hopefully it's going to expand the aluminum more than the bearing, and then by doing so I'll just be able to tap it on the bench and it should fall out. Again, should. I have done it in the past. And we're going to try it here now on camera. And be aware of your flame. Make sure you don't burn anything, or yourself for that matter. Now at this point I'm really not too concerned about that seal, because I'm replacing it no matter what. So I just want to heat up the case without heating the bearing. So that's the trick. Okay, now let's see. Come on, bearing. Don't make me a liar. Maybe a little bit more heat. And give it a quick tap on the bench. It should fall. If it doesn't, we're going to have to hammer it out completely, but I'd rather give it just a little love tap rather than a full hammer. And there you go. Bearing is out. Lighter taps. And if you guys... I mean, it's a little hot actually, so what I did is I went a little bit with too much heat, so the bearing actually absorbed some of that. It would have came out a lot easier, but as you can tell, it did not damage the bearing, which is what the whole point was, because I didn't want to spend the money on the bearing if I didn't have to. And at the same time, here is our ugly seal. This is an ugly seal. I don't know how else I can describe it. I mean, as if there is physically a lip right there. Why would they do it that way? I have no idea. I really don't. Makes no sense to me. However, I'm going to clean up this case now, and we're going to slap that new seal in. Okay, so it's day 5 or 6, or I don't know how many days I've been working on this project, but it is another day, and I've come refreshed. I'm not so bitter about it anymore. I mean, it is what it is. We're going to get it fixed. I have all the parts. I've returned to the parts store 3 times now to get all the parts. And would you believe it? Every time I went to the store, they had the parts in stock. I mean, I know, it blows my mind as well. So we are going to install this seal, but before I install it, really quick, I wanted to mention a few things. So the reason it was overfilled, after I had sat down and thought about this, was this seal right here, this O-ring. So this O-ring, which I had purchased anyways, is what seals the unit right here at the top, separately from this case. So I guess over time it was just getting compressed, or for whatever reason, it allowed engine oil into this gear case, and because this one didn't have any way of releasing that pressure, it blew out that seal. The other thing that might have caused the oil from making its way into this gear case is the engine breather, so like the PCV valve. I'm going to make sure it's free, because if it's not free, that could be building pressure in the crankcase and it's just going to leak out whichever seal is the weakest. So anyways, enough talk. Let's get this darn seal in there. Guys, I'm going to be putting just a bit of RTV on the outside of this seal. Not that I think it really needs it, but it does a multitude of things. It actually helps it slide in better. And of course, once it's dry, prevents any leaks from the outside of this seal. I'm just going to kind of spread that around. Okay, now at this point, rather than me showing you the complete reassembly of all of this, it's essentially going to be the reverse anyways. So the only things I'm going to be doing that might be different is I'm actually going to RTV the outside case here, make sure that everything fits nice and tight, put all the back together, and then reassemble the whole bike. And I'd like to put a video out there that's going to be probably like 2 hours long. However, I want to try and keep it short and to the point. So we're going to go into a high speed, and you're going to watch me put it back together, and we're going to stop when it's ready to turn key. And just like that, with the help of movie picture technology, I was able to reassemble this bike in under 2 minutes. Yeah, it took quite a bit longer than that, but anyways, you get the idea. So of course, now the thing to do is to go try it out, because I know that's on everybody's mind. Is it actually going to work? So we're going to fire it up, we're going to get suited up, and we're going to do some plowing because Mother Nature has dumped another bunch of snow on us. But it's going to be way more fun than using the snowblower. Well guys, as you can tell, she's working really good. I'm very happy with it. It's so much faster than a snowblower. And that's going to do it for today's video. Thanks for watching up to this point. I know it's probably a long video at this point now, but again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.